Hi, and welcome to this installment of Frank and Mary here in Northborough. If you haven't been on the show before, my name is Art Bergeron. I'm an elder law attorney. That's my day job. I work at a firm called Myrick O'Connell. But this is not about my day job or elder law. It's about my friends Frank and Mary. If you've gone to a seminar of mine, you know Frank and Mary, their goal in life is to live in their house until they die and be buried in the backyard. And if they're in Northborough, they want to stay right here. My wonderful co-host for this show is Chris Lindquist, who finds these great guests that Frank and Mary ought to know and that you ought to know if you can identify with Frank and Mary. But Frank and Mary right now, this is the COVID-19 edition of Frank and Mary in Northborough, and everybody's stuck at home. So they just want to get out of the house. They don't want to stay in the house. They want to know what's going on. And if they got kinds of stresses, they want to know how they can deal with them. Chris, you've just been great about finding terrific people to really help people think through all of this and get through all of this. You know, who knows? In theory, we may be starting to get to the tail end of this, which is exciting, but who knows? So you find these great people, and whom do we have today?
Yes, Arthur. So today we're very pleased to have with us Pastor Valeria Schmidt from Trinity Church. Trinity Church, as you know, is downtown Northborough, our next door neighbor across the street. And Valeria was one of the first people I met when I came to Northborough about 5 years ago. And she is just a wealth of information, and we partnered with her on a number of initiatives. We were planning a block party actually for this June. Unfortunately, that's being postponed, obviously, because of the COVID crisis. But, I think Valeria has kind of the pulse of the community. She knows what's happening. And, obviously during these challenging times, pastors, ministers, those who have congregations are supporting those in their churches, more than ever. People are isolated at home. So I just think, we'd love to hear from Valeria about, what's been happening over the past, say, 2 to 3 months during these times.
I think that's a wonderful thing, and thank you so much for being on, Pastor. And I know that through this whole thing, there obviously have been physical needs that people have had, and we've tried to, point people to the resources that are available here in Northborough. But there's this whole other side of all of this, which has really been psychological and spiritual. And if you could just kind of talk to how people have, that'd be really great, and then Chris and I will just be here. Chris is more answers most of the questions. I'm more like the comedy relief, so if you could just talk to us about this.
Sure.
And just as an intro, how long, just as a quick background, how long have you been here? Are you been, ages or recent? And then just kind of talk about what's been going on.
Sure. So I've been the pastor here at Trinity Church for a little over 5 years. I am originally from Germany, and then I lived in Pennsylvania for 6 years before I came here in 2015. So I'm not a townie, but I married a townie. So I'm very blessed to be here because, with no offense to the other churches, Trinity Church kind of is the community church because of our location and because we host the community meals here. We host a lot of community groups, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Northborough Junior Women. We're kind of a hub for Apple Fest, so it's just it is kind of a center, part of this center of town. And we also try to reach out not just to our own members, but to the community. We believe that that's our role here as the church, to not only look at our own, but look beyond, the needs of the community. And so during this, just for us as the church, we've gone, online like everyone had to. We offer worship services on Facebook Live, and we also offer several small group conversations during the week, because I think being isolated and lonely is one of the major effects of this, especially for elderly people who potentially live alone, who don't work, who are worried to leave the house, understandably, and who just are very, very isolated. And I just heard recently that loneliness is kind of the biggest disease that our country struggles with to begin with. And of course, this has made it so much worse, and also makes anybody who's prone to mental illnesses much more at risk. And people even who weren't are now at risk. So connection, I believe, is key, which is why we offer a little Bible study. I do a Wednesday afternoon just chatting on Zoom. We have a Saturday morning group that meets. So we just try to, give people an opportunity to stay connected. But then also for people who are not that technology savvy, we have a whole group of people that makes phone calls very regularly to our elderly people, again, especially those who live alone, but also those who are a couple and those who live in nursing homes too, because they're isolated. Some of them don't get to leave their rooms. They get their meals deposited outside their door.
Right.
So it's awful, the loneliness. And so we have people making phone calls once, twice a week, just checking in. How are you doing? Seeing if there's any needs that we can meet. And I would recommend to anybody who is feeling lonely to also reach out on your own, call someone that maybe you haven't talked to in a while. You don't get to see your neighbors, you don't get to see your family, you don't get to see anybody, right? But you need that human interaction. We are social beings. So if you're not on the computer and you can't FaceTime or Zoom or do any of that, then call on. And if you're able to, oh, I'm sorry, now my phone is ringing. Let's just ignore that. If you're able to do service, like the younger, more active seniors, if you can reach out, make phone calls, send a note, things like that, that will make you feel better and will give you a sense of purpose. Maybe you can sew masks. Anything you can do for others if you're physically able, I think gives you a sense of purpose and meaning. And just take advantage of any kind of connection that you can. If you're a part of a group, I'm sure there already are, like the senior center and the library. And I know junior women's are doing car parades all over town. Celebrate the occasions that present themselves. It takes a little more effort and initiative and maybe flexibility because it's different from what we normally do. But I think it's so important to not isolate, but to stay connected. Another thing I would recommend is, self-care. Whatever feels good to you, do it. Read a good book, watch a movie. Don't watch the news all the time. It's too much, watch little, get the headlines. Don't get overwhelmed with it. Watch, uplifting, fun things. If you're a meditating person, do that a lot. If you're a praying person, do that a lot. If you're a singing person, do that a lot. It's not the same as singing in church or singing in a choir, but still, sing. Physical things like, if you enjoy taking a bath, take a bath, or get yourself a new nice smelling soap or lotion, those sensual things, physical things that TLC, our body needs that. And get outside. I think that's so important. Exercise if you can, go for a walk if you can, do yard work if you can. The fresh air, especially now that the sun is stronger, take advantage of that. Being out in what we call God's creation, in nature, has healing powers, and just paying attention to your surroundings gets your mind off of all the worry. We get so stuck in our heads worrying about things that we really can't control. So being outside and paying attention to the beauty that's out there, I think takes our mind off of that a little bit. And then, if you're used to mindfulness, I think that's a very, very healthy thing to do. Just accepting things as they are without judgment, accepting yourself as you are without judgment. And just taking it one day at a time. None of us can plan, right? That's a big thing that I'm learning because I'm a planner. And my mind always wants to think about what's next month, what's, down the road. We can't.
Right.
So instead of kind of grappling with that and, getting mad about that, just accept it. Okay, right now I can't plan, but I can plan what I'm going to have for dinner, and then just try to stay in the present as much as you can. So trinitynorthborough.org is our website. Trinity Church of Northborough on Facebook, which is where we stream our live services Sunday mornings at 10, but the video remains there. So you can go to our page and you will see videos of previous sermon services that you can watch. The phone number here at the church, and our admin is working from home, but I'm here Monday through Thursday. So the phone number here is 508-393-8156. And there was something else I was going to say.
Email.
But that, oh, and we also, thankfully, Northborough Cable shows our services Sunday at 6 and Thursday at 8:30 a.m. So you can also watch us on Northborough Cable.
Absolutely. And we always give a shout out to Northborough Cable, don't we, Arthur?
Oh, they're the best.
Yeah.
They're just
so,
the best.
Valeria, these are abnormal times. I guess we call it the new normal, but I kind of refer to it as the new abnormal, right? I mean, trying to plan, as you said, is so difficult because we really don't have any information. It's kind of planning in a vacuum. But, one of the things I was wondering about was, I mean, we had Easter celebrations, in April. How did you handle that? I heard there might be a service in the parking lot. Did that actually happen?
That actually happened, and it was so much fun. And I, again, also shout out to the police department, because we checked with them if we were okay doing that, and they said yes. They even stopped by. Actually, I was in here getting ready, and someone said, "The police are here to see you." That's a sentence you don't want to hear, right? But they were just saying, "We're here, let us know if you need anything." So
terrific.
And it was so much fun. We stayed in our cars. I was on the fire escape. Everyone stayed in their cars. So there was no, and we had a few people outside, they were wearing masks. And then we also streamed it to Facebook Live for people who didn't want to come out. And, we had the cars honking for amens, and
just incredible.
It was so much fun. You got to
celebrate. So this is like a takeoff on the Sermon on the Mount. This was like the Sermon on the Fire Escape.
That's right.
That's great. That's great.
Do you see yourselves maybe doing this occasionally, or only at Easter time? If we're still in this next April, who knows? But you're going to try it again?
I think we'll do it again. It was fun.
Valeria, you're also a member of a local organization called the Northborough Interfaith Clergy Association, also known as NICA. And I know you're one of the leaders. I don't know if you're still kind of the chair of that group, but can you talk a bit about what's happening in other congregations in Northborough?
Sure. So that's a way for us to stay connected as clergy. And we don't meet religiously, but we did meet last month on Zoom. And actually, June David Forrest from Family and Youth Services joined us, and we talked about, how we can support the town, and shared some information back and forth, which was really helpful. We have a voucher program that all the churches that are members here in Northborough offer. And actually, it's not all churches. We also, Congregation B'nai Shalom of Westborough, are members, because they have a lot of residents who live in Northborough, even though they don't have a place of worship in Northborough. And so we have this voucher program where people can get vouchers for gas, food, lodging.
Wow.
And so that all the places of worship have those. So you can connect with any of us if there's a financial need. We usually do a Thanksgiving service, an interfaith Thanksgiving service. And then we just try to work together for the benefit of the community. And I know that they're all also offering online services. As to what they're doing specifically to reach out to their members or the community, that I don't know, but I know that they're all doing what they can to care for theirs. And, we support the Northborough Food Pantry, and we just try to get the word out about resources that are available, but also about how people can support, because I've gotten a lot of requests from people saying, I don't need my stimulus check. I want to donate it. Which organization do you recommend? And so we have some really, really generous people here in Northborough, but we also have poverty in Northborough, which you don't see, but it is, some people are struggling, and, especially with kids not getting their lunches at school. So I know the Rotary does a program where they pack meals over the weekend. So if you can support any of those organizations, anybody who's watching, please do.
Yeah, we had actually Pat and Skip Doyle on recently talking about the Nutrition 68 program, which, as you say, it's critically needed. Over the summer, they're going to continue it because it's obviously going to be needed, for those kids who won't get a meal, right? So just a great group of people. I was curious. I know you have the Trinity Church Coffee House. I mean, obviously, you're probably not doing it unless you're doing it virtually. Are you still doing some of those music programs as well?
We did our first virtual coffee house just this past week. We did it
You're
on
not
Zoom.
you're not doing like coffee to go or anything. You're actually doing no.
It's you get your own coffee at home. We provide
Yeah.
the music. So
Oh,
we
that's
were
great.
on Zoom, and so anybody who wanted to sing a song, participated on Zoom, and then we also streamed that to Facebook Live so people could watch it there.
Fantastic.
So that's a very fun opportunity for people to share their gifts and to see each other and connect with each other a little bit.
Absolutely. That's like I think was it Friday evenings normally, or So Arthur, when things get back to semi-normal, we'll all have to go to the Trinity Church Coffee House in real time someday and get coffee. And Valeria, do you have a youth group as well that's active? Can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. So we have what we call faith foundations. It used to be called Sunday school. We don't like that term. So we offer that currently at 11:30 on Zoom. So we worship at 10, and then at 11:30, our Christian education director, Sherry Clark, offers a program for kids on Zoom at 11:30. And then there's also, she does, we do have a youth group. She leads that, and they also meet on Zoom, even though our kids are getting tired of Zoom, especially the younger kids. We're finding they don't want to be in front of the computer anymore. But she creates a little calendar for the month, and there's different challenges, like a scavenger hunt, find something at home. And then they've been doing something for Earth Day. And I think on Tuesdays at 5, they have some gathering, they play some games. So she offers something during several times during the week for kids to engage with each other.
That's fantastic.
And that information is also, her contact information is certainly on our website. So if you're interested, it's not just for our own kids, anybody's welcome. So just shoot Sherry Clark an email, and she'll connect you.
It's wonderful. And Arthur, again, we're kind of neighbors, they're across the street from us. So, if we ever have any parking issues, Valeria is very kind in letting us use her parking lot as kind of an overflow on occasion. So, we always try to collaborate and partner. And we were talking, as I said recently, about a block party. And Valeria had this great idea. I think it was based on perhaps another church that had done something similar to this. We wanted to get the neighborhood together. And we were just in the planning stages of that when all of this happened, right? So I guess at this point, we're now postponing it till next spring, hopefully, I think, right?
Right.
So I would think, Chris, that you're going to get an unbelievable attendance at that, because I think that there's nothing that people want more right now than to get together. Although I do have to say, one of the comments that you just made, Pastor, made me think, one of those silver linings to all of this, you're actually saying that of kids who are tired of being in front of the computer. They want to stop being in front of the computer now. This could be who knows? This could lead to all kinds of wonderful things for parents, right?
Right. Already.
Because they want to see real people again. They don't know, right? They don't know.
I see
now,
so
Chris,
many
I just want.
People are outside. I have never seen so many people outside riding bikes, walking, running. That can't be a bad thing for anybody. Yeah. People are realizing that you can't take anything for granted, and how much it means to get to see another human face. People are waving, chatting with each other. They're just really appreciating that. People are forced, including myself, to familiarize themselves with new technology, which obviously always has its downside, but it can also be a great asset. And I'm so grateful that we can do these Zoom and Facebook things. And we're all learning so much right now. We're learning so much. And also, I think we're seeing what we've been doing to our planet, and that what was normal really shouldn't be normal.
Right.
And all now, the ills of our society, I think, are coming to light right now. And I think we can address them, and we can create a new normal.
Yeah, the disparities that existed before are being compounded, right? So we really are seeing that come to fruition, unfortunately. But I think hopefully, as you say, there are some spiritual lessons that we're learning during this time.
Absolutely.
And I was just, and I know, Pastor, this has been a fascinating conversation. We have a few minutes left, but I know before we started, I was kind of asking about or mentioning that one of the purposes of this show is to help people understand that they're not alone, that all of the crazy things that are going through their head are like going through everybody else's head too, right? And I know that one of the things you said, for example, was, if you're feeling lonely, call somebody, right? And of course, the flip of that is remember that everybody's feeling lonely. So even if you don't want to call somebody because you're feeling lonely, call them because they may be afraid to call anybody right now because, they're feeling lonely. But kind of along those lines, is there a particular thing that you have found during these times that has been especially acute as far as you're concerned? When people are calling you and saying that they're going through hard times, and I just ask this by way of, are allowing other people to understand how much everybody's going through this.
So I think there's two groups that I personally see that are the most affected by it. One is working parents, right? They're working from home and they are also supposed to be their kids' teachers, right?
Oh, yeah.
This significant amount of stress on the family, especially if they don't all have their own space where they can all do that in quiet. I think those of us who don't live in that situation don't appreciate how stressful that is. The other group is children of aging parents, especially parents in nursing homes. I mean, I'm sure you've all seen the statistics of the numbers in nursing homes, and we have children to those parents who are so worried, who don't get to visit them. Yes. And we have dementia parents who just don't understand why they can't be with their family. And we just had Mother's Day, and I think that's really the hardest part, that families can't be together. People, when they go to the hospital to have surgery, their family member can't be with them.
Right.
I think that those two, from my perspective, are the most affected.
Yeah. And many of these are people that are watching this show, and a lot of these are seniors who are actually taking care of a loved one or a parent even who is in one of these situations. And we've spoken about the fact that many of them had caregivers coming in before, but now who won't go now because the caregivers themselves are afraid of the disease. It's very difficult. So Chris, this has been terrific. You have a final question for the pastor, and then we should
turn out. Really thank you, Valeria, for sharing your insights. I mean, we all need spiritual comfort, physical comfort during these times, and I think, as you said and emphasized, self-care is important, and really, making sure that you reach out to people if you feel like you need to talk to somebody. So I thank you for all the insights that you've shared. And we'd love to have you back, but we want to see you in person at some point, and hopefully we'll get together at a coffee house sometime soon. So thank you.
And I hope I get invited to that block party, Chris.
Yeah,
that would be great. By the way, I just want to add one piece of trivia. The pastor was talking about the frustrations of parents who are at home trying to work and also educating. I just saw this polling result that I think something like 45% of men who are at home now with their kids are saying that they have the primary responsibility also of doing the teaching for the kids. And 3% of the wives agree. 3% of the wives.
There's a disparity.
Yeah. So, Pastor, thank you so much. Chris, thank you once again for finding these terrific guests for us. Folks, I hope that you enjoy these shows. Once again, if you've got particular requests regarding folks you'd like us to have on, let us know or call the cable. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next installment of Frank and Mary here in Northborough, the COVID-19 edition. Thank you very much.